Hey, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And this is Mamudu's Movie Reviews. I'm Mamudu, and to this week, I got a real interesting one for you. What do you get when you mix Ron Weasley from Hogwarts, Hellboy, and an acid trip that involves going to the moon? Conspiracy theorists, have at it. This is your way that you fake the moon landing. It's the movie called MoonWalkers. So it begins pretty interestingly. It's sort of like a jungle scene. And then all of a sudden, one of our main characters is beating the hell out of a soldier. He caught him slipping. The soldier looked left. The soldier looked right. And boom, was hit by the main character. Then it does this really cool thing where it's not really Hellboy. It's the actor who played Hellboy, Ron Perlman, where you're focusing on him and the room pans going from the jungle to seeing him beating the hell out of his down pillows. Like one hell of a turn down service. So he's giving it the business, right? And then he wakes up. There's feathers everywhere, looking like he just beat up Scrooge McDuck. Then the cut scene. Suddenly it switches. Now we're following my favorite personal Pumpkinhead. And the reason I say that is because I've even got him on my charger. That's right. Ronald Weasley is in this movie. And he's playing a character called Johnny. Johnny is a band manager of a group that sucks. They're a British rock band. Just imagine the Beatles and then severely lower your expectations. The lead singer's got this weird move where he gropes himself and he's like, it's almost better than the singing. No, it's not. As soon as they hit the stage, they get ran out of there and they have to run, and they're blaming it all on Johnny and about his gigs. Like apparently these were supposed to be playing on hippie night, and it turns out they showed up on preppy night, and the preppies were not feeling that hippie shit. Rupert Grint is the actor that plays Ron Weasley, that plays Johnny in this flick. Kind of in financial trouble. He ends up going to a cousin of his that he can try to borrow money from. This big executive, big wide windows in his office. When Johnny walks in there, Johnny's asking for money. His cousin laughs in his face, does cocaine, and then his nose starts to bleed. So he leaves. When he leaves, enter Hellboy. Ron Perlman, I call him the Hollywood Hitman, who introduces himself to Johnny, who's pretending to be his cousin so he can still try to steal the money from him. The Hollywood Hitman then goes ahead and says, we need you to get a movie made by Stanley Kubrick. No details, no questions, money. Johnny's already financially strapped. You see, little backstory we discover in the next part, Johnny's been borrowing money. He wanted the money to go ahead and put forth to his band. Unfortunately, he borrowed money from the hugest loan shark in town, who doesn't offer breaks. He breaks legs. I don't think I could ever borrow anything from that rent-a-center. That seems like a little crazy. It'd be like, listen, you can sign this contract. It's 30 days. You order your first payment, or we take your kneecap. Yeah, I'm good. I think I'm going to go buy my stuff from Big Lots. Johnny goes ahead and finds his roommate, actor named Leon, who always gets super high. He tells Leon, this is the role of a lifetime. Here you go. You get to play Stanley Kubrick, and we're going to go and take this money from this American guy. Leon is kind of skeptic at first. Hold on. I'm not high enough for this. Personally, I can relate. There's many situations I've walked into where I've been like, I'm not high enough for this yet. 10 more minutes. I've definitely done it myself. And at the same point in time, like Leon had really kind of sees the situation as an actor, and this is an opportunity for him to play his best role. Johnny brings Leon back dressed as a rough Stanley Kubrick, and then they go to the Hollywood Hitman and meet him. Now, remember how I said the Hollywood Hitman was having flashbacks in the beginning? Hellboy beating up his pillow? Because he's been having flashbacks ever since he was in the war. This guy was beating his pillow like it was Viet Cong. At one point in the meeting between Johnny, Leon, and Hollywood Hitman, Hitman starts to have a flashback. Who knows why he's getting triggered? Maybe that Agent Orange is kicking in. My man starts to say, I've got to get back to my room. Stanley, here, take this money and go get started on the film. I'll see you tomorrow. Johnny takes the money. Him and Leon have a night on the town. But it's fresh money. They can pay back the loan shark, what they call the ironmonger. They can pay him back later. But one night on the town, they've earned this. Stupid. Because as soon as he wakes up in the morning, guess who's at the door? The ironmonger's henchmen. And boy, do they want their money. Oh, you were spreading it around last night a little bit. You've come to take our piece. Found all your money. You thought you were going to give us a little piece? We're taking it all with interest. This is why we fought the Redcoats. You know what I'm saying? They just seem to want to take it all. This is why we drink coffee instead of tea. No, none of that has any bearing on any of this. Ironmongers end up taking all the money that was supposed to be meant for the movie. Now, the next morning, after Hollywood Hitman's had some time to calm down, he looks at the TV and you see Stanley Kubrick is making his movie, 2001 Odyssey. And if he's making that movie in America, then who the hell did I meet yesterday? So he starts going on a trail of smacking people left and right. And remember, he's a soldier, Hollywood Hitman. And you find out later on that that money had a purpose. So he's smacking everybody from bartenders to executives. And it's like left and right, whoever gets in the way is getting smacked. Eventually, he makes his way back to Johnny. Johnny, now having just the smallest amount of money left because all of the rest was taken via interest. Now Johnny is trying to negotiate. He's like, I know who has the money, but I don't have it and I can't get it for you. Hollywood Hitman takes a deep breath, just like he did in every role of Hellboy. And he says, all right, well, let's go get it. I'm pretty sure they make Ron Perlman say that in most of the... He has to do the sigh and then, well, let's go get it. And I'm pretty sure he has to do it in every film. Just like if you know Sean Bean, he has to die in everything. What happens next is they have to go and they have to find the Ironmonger. They find him because if a name like Ironmonger, who's hiding? Get there. And you know, Hollywood Hitman, he doesn't put up with any of this stuff. Johnny's scared so much, I'm pretty sure he pooped his pants on the way out. An argument ensues, shots are fired, explosions, and they leave out of there in a hail of gunfire, having taken the money back from the Ironmonger and shot a couple of his guys. That is going to be a problem. Now that they've got the money back, they've got to find a director. They search all over. The first director runs away from the film. The second one is this weird guy who really only directed a few hits where it's weird situations, people bouncing on trampolines, you know, all of the odd work. Start filming and drawing it all up. Meanwhile, back in America, they're waiting for status reports from the Hollywood Hitman on how's it coming along. And you start to piece it together along the course of the movie that what they're trying to do is beat the Russians with footage of landing on the moon. Yeah, they're really just going ahead and coercing a director. They're coercing all of these actors to play the part of Americans landing on the moon, just to play the footage in front of Russia to say we did it first. The only time I've had that type of competition, I was trying to beat my siblings into bragging rights submission. If I win the oldest, ta-da! Guess who gets a bright shining star in You Can't Beat Me column? Yeah, that's right. I assert my dominance over the rest of the family and sit there and tell my siblings, this is why I was born first. Look at greatness. You're welcome. That's the only other time I've ever felt that sort of way. But America was rushing to beat the USSR from being first. Tensions get high, right? There comes a time when the Hollywood Hitman's flashbacks are starting to interfere with the film. Now, Leon, as I told you before, is the king of getting sky high. Oh, man, this dude loves his high. Magic mushrooms, whether it's weed, whether it's a little bit of acid, you never know. This guy mixes it up better than any of the singles parties you ever went to. The Hollywood Hitman speaks to Leon and he says, I'm CIA trained. That weed stuff, Could never even work on me. You ain't messed with Leon. Leon lets him hit the bong once. This man laid out on the floor looking like a Family Guy drawing. Absolutely face down, done for. You're done, son. Done. He gets up later. They continue filming because they have to get this done on a deadline. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. It takes 3 months for a shoot or years. Guess when they had to do it? 1 week. Talk about a time crunch. I usually only have school assignments that are done within that type of time crunch. They go, I have a test in the morning? Looks like we're pulling an all-nighter, boys. Hollywood Hitman's on the floor, laid out, looking like a drawing. The Hollywood Hitman wakes up. Now, he's got a whopping headache. He's never been that stoned before. Leon gave him that doozy. He gave him the doozy bong. You know what I'm saying? Bong is really what his ears were saying when he tried to think about how hard he hit that thing and then got knocked out. He goes to a woman and he's like, hey, I got this huge headache. She's like, here, take this. This will help. She's like, what did you just give me? Acid. What? Dude, this is one of the coolest acid trip sequences I've ever seen. At one point, there were lights that were reflecting off of the walls that everybody's face suddenly became the same hue. There was moments where I felt like I was looking through a disco ball into a party. It gave me those same feelings. So if you're looking for a kind of trippy feeling while watching a movie, MoonWalkers is it. After he gives it an acid trip, he tries to make a phone call to his superiors to say, everything is on fine, we're on schedule. Terrible idea. Have you ever tried to call someone on acid? No, you're not going to make sense. Okay? He was asking for permission to ask questions from his superiors. Sir, do you want the movie to be done on time? Wait, no, I can't say that. Anyone who's ever been fucked up and trying to have an important conversation, you know where he was. And the CIA busts in. Boom, boom, kicks through the door. The cocky band that Johnny was taking care of, oh, they came back. Now they're like, Johnny, you've done so much for us. Look, you've got us a whole setup. We're going to do music videos. Thanks, Johnny. And they arrogantly strut into the party. My favorite part of the movie was watching a CIA officer backhand the lead singer of the band because he thought it was his set and he started making demands. I think I stopped the movie and clapped. It was amazing. After the CIA came in, they start to film and they're trying to send live feed back to Washington to show that we are on the moon and here's the footage that you're getting straight. The CIA just wanted to make sure that the farce was carried out without missing a beat. Why should the plot twist when it can thicken? Pause. On the same day that they're filming, CIA busts in. Guess who decides it's time to get me payback? The Ironmonger. That's right. The Ironmonger decides, oh, I'm bringing my whole crew with axes. We broke off chair legs and we got big shotguns. Who want what? So now they're filming the scene. You've got Johnny, who's now dressed up as an American astronaut, pretending to hold down the fort. Leon, who's very high on magic mushrooms to take the edge off, is also pretending to be an astronaut. And they are on wired apparatuses floating on this fake stage looking like first steps on the moon. It's being beamed back to Washington. All of a sudden, hell breaks loose. Chaos ensues. Yes, burst through the door come the Ironmonger's men. Boom, boom, fire back the CIA. They're sitting here going trade for trade, shot for shot. And eventually, the fire gets onto the stage. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen fake footage or suddenly something gets exposed. But it's real hard to say you're on the moon when a well-dressed CIA agent with an axe in his back dies on camera. That's when you know it's over. Washington was stunned. This one guy had a cigar in his mouth, fell right out onto the ground. It's fucking hilarious. It's because the entire operation had gotten blown up. Washington knew it was a farce. Everyone who had tried to go ahead and fake it knew it was fake. Hollywood hitman starts going on a blazing rage, remembering his Vietnam days, and he ends up shooting through both the CIA and the Ironmonger's men and ends up saving Johnny. So now Johnny, Leon, and the Hollywood hitman are the only ones who end up making it out of this entire wild situation. A couple weeks later, these gentlemen are all sitting there having a couple beers and relaxing, and then the footage of going to the moon on the TV screen. And the footage leaves you with a little question, because at the end, Johnny looks over at the Hollywood hitman. Hitman looks over at Leon. Leon looks both the back of them and be like, wait, did we actually go to the moon? Or didn't we? Great question. There you go. That's for the conspiracy theorists. I baked this just for you. MoonWalkers. It's a good movie if you want to be entertained by a funny comedy. I thought, honestly, it was a little all over the place. As much as it had like a one-through storyline, it seems like the screenwriters had really tried to make sort of like a Crash scenario where so many different stories and different characters all culminate on one day. And honestly, it had the effect of, I don't know, it made me feel like I was squeezing a pimple. Like, it's like I had to put the hot compress on top of it, and then it got to a real big point with a white head, and that was the day of filming. And when I squeezed it, it was satisfying, but it hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt watching MoonWalkers. It was a good movie, but I struggled through some parts. And at the same, I also got lost scrolling in my phone a few times, if I'm honest. Overall, good movie. I think you should definitely check it out. It stars, as I said before, my boy, I love this guy, Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley, Johnny Bones, I believe his name was. I love that guy. You know what I'm saying? I also saw him in that Cabin in the Woods movie. He was good in that too, even though he was just a terrified redheaded guy. Gingers can be scared too. So I enjoyed the movie. Go check out MoonWalkers if you want to laugh and have a good time. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, favorite, subscribe, send to your friends, share. If you want to hit me up, then make sure you do. I'm at the M. Dukez Kargbo on all platforms. Please make sure you hit me up on X, Snapchat, Instagram, everywhere, and I will go ahead and check it out. If you have any movies that you want me to review, send them over to my Instagram or send them to my my X, and I will review those movies and we'll talk about it. So down. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Mamudu Kargbo. Mamudu's Reviews. Come on.
Get your bags up. Get your bags up.